I'm Gregory Sweet. Thank you so much for joining me. You're listening to KSVR 91.7 Mount Vernon, simulcasting on 90.1 FM KSVU, Hamilton Concrete Upriver Radio. And thank you also to our streamers who are listening in live at ksvr.org. I've got my special guest with me here today for you to listen to. Randy Hathaway is here. Hi, Randy. Have we got your mic all hooked up here?
I think so. Does it sound
good?
good?
Just pull that one just a little closer to you there.
How's that? Pretty good?
You're in good shape.
Okay.
You're in good shape.
Thank you, Greg. I'm doing good.
Good. Randy, I was contacted by Irma up at KSVU a couple weeks ago, said that you're kind of touring around to promote this new album.
Yeah.
And tell me a little bit about it. I understand that you have retired from playing classical music. You'll come out of retirement every once in a great while.
I'll come every once in a while.
But this particular double CD, which by the way is fantastic, it also has some vocals that are on it too, and we're going to play you one of those in a little bit. But these are all your compositions, but not. I think I saw you playing on at least one song, though.
I did. I made a guest appearance on one song. I came out of retirement for that.
That's great. Randy, tell me a little bit about yourself. You live in the Seattle area now, don't you?
I did for 29 years. I just recently relocated to Yakima, which is where I was born and raised.
Okay.
And that just happened within the last month.
Okay.
So I am there, but I'm still a Washingtonian. So there you go.
Born and bred, yeah.
That's correct.
That's good.
I want to stay in the Pacific Northwest. I love it here.
Yeah, I don't blame you a bit for that.
Yeah.
I spent 18 years in the desert before I moved up here, and I think about that, and it was just like 100 miles of wreckage.
Yeah.
But anyway, so tell me a little bit about this album, how it came about, and who the artists are and how you're helping them and that sort of thing.
Okay. Well, I started the album back in around 2004, but most of the pieces were written over a period of probably like a dozen years.
Okay.
And I knew that for a long time I wanted to record this album. And I had talked to a number of these players prior to doing it for probably a good handful of years. And about 2014 came, and there was a lot of things in my life that had changed. And I finally decided, it's time to pull the trigger here.
Yeah.
And do this. And I wasn't fully ready, but I just felt like this is just time. There's a time where you just have to do it. So I started contacting the people. We have 18 musicians on the album and 13 guitarists, 3 vocalists, a flutist, and a violist. I know, it's pretty crazy.
It's quite a combination.
And then I took it a little further. All the pieces have been rendered into sheet music, and I just thought it would be really special to have a unique cover for each piece of the sheet music. So all 15 compositions, if you look at the sheet music on my website, there's a different piece of artwork representing every song. And I incorporated 10 artists that I knew to do the artwork, and it's just beautiful.
That's great.
The whole project.
The cover is in itself inside and outside of the double album, or just it's
well,
terrific.
we have to thank my sister Sandra Fredrickson for that.
Ah.
I brought her out of retirement as well.
Yes. I see. That's incredible. Well, we want to get some of this music on the air before the end of my show at 4 o'clock. So this first song is one that I heard when I was reviewing the CD for KSVR and KSVU, and I liked it a lot. And I wanted to, I mentioned it to you, and you said, "Yeah, let's do that." Tell me a little bit about this song before I put it on.
La Beau Tango is a piece. First of all, you're going to hear Whitney Lyman as a vocalist.
Beautiful vocalist.
Oh, absolutely. Wonderful
incredible.
Person, too. Yeah. Very talented artist. And the guitarist, Jessica Papkoff, who I've known for at least a dozen years or more. So I put both of those two together, and like a lot of the musicians, they hadn't performed together, but they did a beautiful job together on this. And I wrote the music and had the melody already written, and it just reminded me of a French cafe piece. I just had that, and I thought, I should put some French text to it. I found some French text, surfing the internet. I did an arrangement of that text. It was off of another song.
Yeah.
And it was just amazing how everything fit. I don't speak French or read French, but the syllables almost fit perfectly into the written melody with just a little bit of arranging that was just meant to be.
That's great. That's great. Let's hear this.
connaîtrait l'amour pour toujours. Il est plus beau que tous les tangos que j'ai dansé dans vos bras. Il laisse étendre que nos corps tremblent pour l'entendre. Venez danser, plus beau que tous les tangos que j'ai dansé dans vos bras. J'ai connu d'autres tangos à ronde, mais mon cœur ne verra pas celui-là. Plus beau que tous les tangos que j'ai dansé dans vos bras. Son souvenir me poursuit jour et nuit. Je pense à lui, car il m'a fait connaître l'amour pour toujours. Il laisse tendre que nos corps tremblent pour l'entendre. Venez danser, plus beau que tous les tangos que j'ai dansé dans vos bras.
Absolutely beautiful, Randy.
Thank you.
Randy was telling me the story about how he met this lady. You said she's a faculty member, didn't you?
Yeah, I used to run the Seattle School of Music. I was a director at the time, and I had interviewed Whitney Lyman for a position to teach at our school, and she handed me a demo. And when I was listening to her demo, I went, "Oh my goodness, that's the voice I've been looking for on a couple of my tracks." So
great.
after our interview, I said to her, "Hey, would you like to maybe collaborate down the road?" And she said, "Of course, you know." And then a few years elapsed, and sure enough, I called her, and there we go.
She still was interested. That's great.
Absolutely, she's just a wonderful person.
And Miss Pupkoff, that plays the guitar, is also extremely
Oh
talented.
yeah,
isn't
it's
she?
just beautiful playing, and
It's great.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, and we want to get as much of this in as we can. You've got another cut. This is from CD 2 on the album, and Randy has labeled them in such a way, like this particular one has actually, 7 songs on it?
7 movements.
Right, 7 movements under Exodus, it's titled, and it's about almost 17 minutes long, but we're going to jump into the middle of it and play 3 in a row for you. Upon the Horizon, Promised Land, and Anniversary. And can you tell me about these two artists that are playing on this?
Absolutely. So Graham Banfield probably recorded on 3 tracks. He recorded 2 solos, Autumn and Winter's Arrival, and came back for Exodus. I had such a good time recording Winter's Arrival with him that I said, "Graham, I have another piece in mind for you." And it just so happened that he was being accompanied by Julia Posey at the time.
Wow.
And I just mentioned, "I'll have to look for a violist. This is what we're kind of looking for." And he goes, "Well, you know, Julia's a violist, and she's trained in Italy since she was a little girl." So as they were leaving town, I gave them the music. They were on a road trip. And they got back to me in a few days, said, "We'd love to come out and record Exodus," which is my largest piece, like you said, 17 minutes.
Right.
And boy, I'll tell you, they are truly professionals. I had such a great time with them. It was a big piece. Julie had to fly in from Italy to record this. And Graham was getting his master's or doctorates at the time. I cannot remember, but he had to fly in as well. So we coordinated them coming into Seattle for some big marathon rehearsals for this piece. Some of them were like 3-hour-long rehearsals and multiple, and then got him in the studio, and here you go.
What studio did you use to do your recording in?
Yeah, Michael Thomas Connolly, who is the engineer and the owner of Amp DC Studio down in Seattle, and it was a wonderful experience. I love Michael to death. Just would love to continue to record with him down the road. He's just got amazing ears as an engineer and amazing personality.
That's great.
Musicians
That is
loved him to
great.
death.
That's great. It sounds like you had a wonderful time. Well, let's hear these 3 compositions in a row. Randy, that was beautiful.
Well, thank you very much.
And we played, actually, you got a bonus on this. We were only going to pay 3 of them. Can you go ahead and tell what that was real quick, Randy?
Sure. We actually started with the fourth track, which was Memoirs, and then we continued on through Upon the Horizon, Promised Land, and Anniversary. So we've got pretty close to half of the long piece there.
That's great. Let's be sure and get this out to everybody knows. This is by Randy Hathaway. It's compositions of his, and the title of this beautiful double album is called Classical Guitar in America, Compositions by Randy Hathaway. I asked Randy how our listeners can get copies of the CD. Both the hard copy and downloads are available on your website at randyhathaway.com.
Yeah, you can get a hard copy of this. You can also do digital downloads. You can download the whole album, or you could download individual pieces. And the sheet music is also there, too.
Excellent.
For those. And I've got it set up so you can actually purchase a PDF file, print it right through your printer, or the artwork you have to have. So beautiful. I love the artist. So you can get hard copies of that as well. So I'm kind of all set up.
So even if you don't want to buy the CD, you can download the music and still get the artwork and the liner notes to go along with it.
That's right. That's right. And
I've solved that problem.
I've actually had people buy some of the sheet music just for the artwork because it is so beautiful, and you have to go there and look at it. There's also a beautiful documentary I made of this process because it was 3 years that it took to make this whole project happen. A little over 3 years, about 3 years and 3 months or something like that.
Right.
Anyway, if you go to my website, there's a 37-minute documentary, so you can watch all these people in rehearsals and in a recording studio, and there's even a performance at one point, and there you go.
So you can watch the documentary free.
Yeah, it's free.
Oh, that's excellent. I will watch that this weekend, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, Randy, it's an absolute pleasure to have you here. The album, once again, is a double CD, if you wish to have the hard copy, called Classical Guitar in America by Compositions by Randy Hathaway. The best way right now, Randy was saying eventually it'll be available on iTunes, Amazon, and other sources, but the best way right now is www.randyhathaway.com. That will get you his music in all the different forms that we talked about. Well, you've thought about this, haven't you? You know, people say, well, I don't want the CD, I want the downloads, but I want the artwork, I want the liner notes, I want the music, I want the sheet music.
Nowadays, right now, we're in a time where that's exactly what you have to have.
That's just incredible. Please, please, please come back.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And support your local radio station. You guys are doing